Should Klay Thompson get a pass for cheating with Meg Thee Stallion? You know what I mean? Or men for that matter. Should men get a pass with cheating, on women? I mean, after all, women always say men are dogs or whatever it is. So should men get a pass since that they're a dog anyways? Y'all know what's been happening right now with the whole Meg Thee Stallion thing, right? And you've seen how the internet has been erupting with that particular story.
Men get a pass a lot of times when they have these kinds of alleged relationships and affairs, and then people start then talking about the woman and then their past relationship, and it's not even equal in terms
No,
of
there's
how
certainly a double standard.
Well, there are many double standards that exist actually in life. If we really want to talk about it, there are lots of double standards. One of the double standard is how the child support system works. Most of the times, it's a man that's actually on child support. That's a double standard. You hear women calling about that or calling for change. There are double standards within, women hitting men, and there have been experiments on these, right? But you don't hear any ladies calling that out, saying, hey, the woman shouldn't be putting their hands on men. But they do it all the time. So there's lots of double standards. If we're going to talk about double standards, we could go down this road forever and ever and ever. However, I mean, I the deal with the Klay Thompson thing is that, number one, the story is allegedly, because basically it's via Instagram stories. In other words, she didn't really catch him in a bed, cheating. Right? She basically saw some Instagram story, and the Instagram story suggested that he was cheating based on what everyone is saying. Claire basically hasn't really said too much, but nonetheless.
He's into he doesn't want to be monogamous.
Then why are you dating me anyway? Because in our conversation then, if you had told me that, I would have said bye.
Yeah, but you got this, Megan, and we want better for you. And there's so much better out there than Klay Thompson.
See, and then you're going to have that coming on. But is there much better out there for Meg Thee Stallion than, Klay Thompson? Let me ask that. I mean, let's not act like Meg Thee Stallion is like a saint.
Jordan, Tommy, Timothy, Daniel, Mike.
And I've heard even girls saying, Meg Thee Stallion put Klay Thompson on the map of where?
We didn't know Klay Thompson before Meg Thee Stallion.
People been knowing Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is an NBA star. Like, he's a star. You know him. You know of the Golden State Warriors between Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. So I'm not quite certain where they're going with that. But it's almost like anything to basically prop up the woman is what I'm seeing that's going on as far as this is concerned. But of course, gender wars is nothing new to the internet or to the social space or to life in itself and society. So it is what it is. But let's dig deeper into our question. In this case, Klay Thompson is stating he does not want to be monogamous. And I find that to be right there. Is it the nature of a man to be monogamous? Let me ask ladies that question. Because the thing about women is that women try to see exactly if they can compete with men as far as sex is concerned. And I don't believe women can compete, because I feel like women have a level of sacredness to them. Women have that level of sacredness to them. Women have something where basically a woman, when she's going to go love a man, she's going to go love a man. It's not the, hey, I see this guy and right off the rip, I just want to get into bed with him. They may think these things, but they don't actually follow through with them, and they're not as strong to what I get as it is with men. Check this out.
When a woman cheats, she cannot be forgiven. A man, yes, he can and should be forgiven. Hold on, I have an explanation for this. A man cheats because it's his nature. It's instinctual. He was born that way. He is taught from childhood to be an alpha male.
Let me stop this right here. This is something that is true. Men have actually been bred to have multiple partners. Think about it. When you listen to the music, that song, that's basically what you get in the music.
There was Brenda, Letitia, Lynn.
When you see even society as to how society reacts, look at the guy that is the nerd. Look at the guy that says, you know what, I only want to have one woman. That man is generally ridiculed. You do have women who ridicule this man for having one girl. Look at the man that decided he's going to get married. A lot of times that man gets ridiculed by even other women. What? How can you only have one woman? Outside of that, men have a certain thing about being very visual. And I like to tell people that it takes a while to temper that visuality, because the truth of the matter is you're always just looking and you're looking and you're looking, and once you look, everything happens in visions. You can see it. When you see a woman, you basically can undress her right then and there. Not sure if women are undressing men. Maybe the ladies in the comments will have to tell me this. You know what I mean? And how far do you actually go? But man's instinct to react to a woman, I think, is much greater. I believe that.
Woman, however, is different from a man. For a woman to cheat on her husband, it's because she has already compared him to the other man. And when that happens, it's because she has already placed the lover much below the husband.
That's interesting. I guess I want to hear from the ladies, in the audience. In other words, ladies, what makes a woman cheat? What brings a woman to that particular point? What I know of men is that you could cheat with the side mistress, but still want your wife, because according to you, you think your wife is still yours and you still want to have her around. In other words, you're basically just cheating for cheating's sake, because a lot of times men do cheat for cheating's sake. To be very, very fair with you, let's be real and be honest. But why do women cheat? Because I've always found a woman to be extremely sacred, and I feel like women don't just give up the cookies like that. So I appreciate this argument. I believe women don't just give up the cookies. Or do they? Do they actually want to? Let me ask that question. Is it that women have always wanted to give up the cookies, but society has trained her not to? Is it a societal thing? Is it a nature thing? I think I want to know that.
Woman cheats on a man, it's because she has already reached the final verdict. Her husband is a piece of... And if the husband forgives, oh, poor him, because the chance of her doing it again is 1,000%. That's a fact. The truth is just one. She cheated because she lost respect for him due to a betrayal, due to mistreatment, and so on. And
interesting. So in other words, women cheat because she's lost trust. Because men will just cheat because basically of lust. Women cheat because they've lost trust. Is this true? Is he onto something as far as this is concerned? That's quite interesting. Let me ask the ladies out there. Let me challenge ladies out there on that. Do women cheat out of lust? Let me ask that. Because I know what men do. I know men will cheat out of lust. Men will see the woman and she was just fine. She was too irresistible, so you took her. What makes you go towards the man? That's a good question.
Respect is hardly ever recovered, unlike a man, because he cheats out of desire, weakness, and if he regrets it, he doesn't cheat again.
And that is true, by the way. If a man really, really regrets the whole idea of cheating, if him, especially if other friends start to tell him, hey, for example, a man who have a wife, hey, you really have a good wife. Why exactly are you, allowing, this woman to kind of bring you into this light? Yes, I can second that message that after a period of time, you start to feel a type of way. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So they're saying exactly that the reasons for cheating is different. In other words, a man will cheat out of lust. He can work on the lust. But they're saying as far as a woman is concerned, it's cheating out of lack of trust. And once a woman doesn't trust you anymore, can she ever trust again? That is my question. Can she ever trust again? Because they're saying trust is greater than just lust. Because lust can happen and it can pass. But trust is hard to basically regain. Give me a take on this. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm going to talk to y'all soon.